And this Friday night pint live, we are back to talk about all things West Ham. Apparently, West Ham, they're losing faith in Nuno. They are very unhappy with his actions after the Nottingham Forest game, which we will get into. We're going to be talking transfers. Again, we're hearing the one more game to save his job chatter coming out. Apparently, it's a Spurs game this time. We're going to get into that, what we think about all that stuff. And like I said, transfers, players, incomings, outgoings, all that good stuff. Lads, happy Friday. Hope you're well.
Yeah, happy Friday, mate. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I need a flake with this one.
That's a good pour there, Scott.
A bit wrong there.
Just
Went a bit wrong.
What the? Did I fix that? It looked like, on the thing, it looks like I've capitalized the U in Nuno.
Yeah, you have.
But yeah, but for some reason it's not on the YouTube. Thankfully, the YouTube fixed it. So yeah. So basically, right. Let's get straight into it. I hope everyone in the chat is good and having a good Friday. Nuno Espirito Santo. Obviously, we've lost the Forest game, which has already put some pressure on his shoulders. Apparently, the club have not sort of been looking to sack him. The Forest result didn't happen, but it's what he did after the Forest result that has seemed to cause some controversy and upset the higher ups at West Ham. So we just lost to Forest, and you see the picture, the picture obviously in the thumbnail. You see the video afterwards. I saw it at the time. He's embracing the Forest players. So our players are, down on the floor, gutted. Which he did go and embrace the Debo now afterwards, but he was seen embracing the Forest players. Obviously, I used to play for him, so I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm trying to work around it in my mind. I'm interested to see what the lads think and what you all think in the chat. Like, was Nuno wrong for that, or is it no big deal and they're overreacting the club?
I think, look, the week when we lost to Wolves, obviously he went straight down the tunnel and he was criticised for not coming on the pitch and clapping the fans and shaking the players' hands and that. So I think the reason why he done that against Wolves because he was obviously there's a history there with the backroom staff that have recently joined, and I think he was frustrated and upset that they've gone back to Wolves and not joining him at West Ham. When he come on the pitch, I was like you. When I see it on after the Forest game, he was sort of smiling and cuddling the Forest players and. Look, I understand that he used to work for them and, he knows them personally. But, yeah, I'm a bit mixed with it. Like, I don't really know how to take it. I'm not happy with it, but I'm not pissed off with it. I've done a Scott and I'm on the fence with it.
Sit on the Scott fence.
The thing is, right, so give me the context, Dan. Was this embrace of the Forest players after the embrace to all the West Ham players after he spoke to his players who were walking off the pitch? What's the context?
I think he walked on the pitch and just sort of embraced people as he come across them. I don't think he sort of walked past West Ham players to go and greet Forest players, and I don't think he walked past Forest players to go and console West Ham players. He went on the pitch, and from what I can see, and I remember, someone correct me if I'm wrong, he bumped into the Forest players first. So he's gone on the pitch. Forest players come on. How's it going? Good to see you. All of that stuff. Tadebo comes later. He consoles Tadebo.
Right. So in my opinion, right, and again, not managed at this level that we're saying, Sunday League level, your players are dejected on the floor. Right, you're not a rude person that when you're walking onto the pitch to go and see your players, that an opposition player comes up to shake your hand and say, unlucky or well done. You shake their hand. You don't embrace them. You don't have a laugh and a joke with them because that's damn right disrespectful to your own players. If your players are sitting on the floor the way some of our players were at that point in time, you make a beeline for them players sitting on the floor because they are your players. They are the players that you put out there to go and do a job under your tactics, under your guidance, and you can see how dejected they are because they knew how much that defeat affected everyone, right? And for me, to be laughing and joking with opposition players, whether you got on with them or not in your last job, is damn right disrespectful to every single person underneath your management structure, right? So, yeah, the club have got a right to be pissed off with him. The fans have got a right to be pissed off with him. And what concerns me is the board are more pissed off with him doing that than they are with what he does with his substitutions and rubbish tactics. So turns around and says what the priorities of the board is, doesn't it? So let's be honest. The players felt what we felt in the stands. As I said to you on post-match one, we turned to each other. That's it. We're done. That's it. You see Mavropanos sitting on the ball. You see, like you said to Zebo, you see the other Potsy. You see how much that defeat, how they knew how much that defeat hurt us, right? Hurt all of us. And then he's laughing and joking with his former players before going and seeing his own players. Disrespectful. But I don't expect anything different because for me, he seems the type of guy that is only interested in himself and that's it. So, look, it's just, for me, another nail in his coffin.
Bold words there, mate. Bold words. Yeah, I mean, I'm like you guys, like the embracing of the players. You're there, you see them, good to see all of that. It is the smiling, you're looking at it like we're all dejected. We're all thinking we're down. We're all thinking that's it. I don't want to see a single player. I don't want to see the manager or coach smile. I don't want to see anyone looking happy with what's just happened after the season we've had. Everyone should be miserable because they're the reason. And the people upstairs, he should be fucking the most miserable. They should all be miserable because they're the reason we're in that mess. But it's us that suffer. It's us that the ones that have to, live with it and have to be miserable and let it affect everything, in our lives. And I just don't like to see it. Like I don't like to say I'm not as, I wouldn't say I'm damning and scamming as you. But yeah, that's not a good look. I would say that that's not a good look.
Yeah, no, I agree, and especially after like the last 4 games, it's not looking good for us survival-wise. I mean, as people keep saying, there is a lot of points to play for. There's a lot of games still to play, so it's not over yet. But we haven't given ourselves the way we're playing at the moment. You can understand why fans and pundits and everyone think we haven't got a chance because we ain't great, but it can turn around. But yeah, I'm the same. I don't want to see Nuno laughing and smiling with Forest players and that. But yeah, I don't really know, mate. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like I sort of said, there's many issues that and reasons they could sack him for. That like Scott, it might just add another bit of pressure to him. But it's this whole. We're back in this whole one game to save his job. I read from a journal before the Forest game. If we lose that, he could be sacked. That's the game. He can't lose that game, and we lost that game, and he's still here. And now, there's a talk of the Forest, like the Tottenham game. Like we're always in this situation with managers. One game, like I've always said this. I said it with Potter and Lopetegui. I said it with Moyes. Like if you're at that point where a manager's got one game to save his job, then just sack him. Because what's that one game going to change? What's him winning one game? Like, if he's in a situation where you're like, this ain't the guy, then sack him. Because winning one game of football isn't going to matter in the grand scheme of things. And that's what I hate.
And this is the problem, mate, is this one game to save your job malarkey. It's ridiculous. At the end of the day, it's a results-based business, right? Unless you're literally coming into a club, right, turning around and saying, this is the project we're going to do. Right, we're going to throw money at the project. We're going to build the project. Listen, the next 2 seasons we're going to be battling relegation, but we're not going to go down. Yeah, we're going to make sure we're not going to go down. We're going to do what we can to make sure we're not going to go down. Right, and you're building something. It's absolutely fine. We know, right? With the squad we were left with, starting this season, we knew this was a rebuild. This was trying to say the managers have not helped the situation, right? And this is the thing. I can't stand Nuno, right? His tactics I can't stand. His substitutions is terrible. For me, he ain't the right guy for the job. The problem I've got is there's no one else out there for me to sit there and say that we need to sack him tomorrow. There's nobody there. We're not going to go and buy a manager that's going to get us out of this situation. If you're sitting there and we're linked with Harry Redknapp taking back over, it just shows how much of a dire straits we are in and how cheap and cheerful we are trying to do everything. Right? And this is my issue. As I said on post-match one, sometimes it's the devil you know better than the devil you don't. Performance-wise, it's not been bad. The performance against Forest wasn't bad. The performance against Fulham wasn't bad. The performance against Brighton wasn't bad. The lack of quality in the finishing was, Wolves, we completely write off. We know that was terrible, but the lack of finishing was a big issue. But also the tactics and the substitutions is a big issue. And this is the problem that we're going through. He gets things wrong that's cost us points. And that is why I'm very anti-Nuno. And I said, for me, these are the things. There isn't a quick fix for this now. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I
agree, mate.
Come in and inspire it.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no one out there for me now that can come in and inspire these players. The Harry Redknapp situation is, Sullivan probably heard when Harry Redknapp said he'd do it for free, his fucking ears pricked up. He went, "Oh, you do it for free, will he? Yeah, we'll have him."
He said he managed either West Ham or Spurs for free. Is that something we want?
That says it all there, doesn't it? So,
yeah,
I think they're going to stick with Nuno. I think they've obviously just paid £50 million for two players that he wanted. Obviously, look, if we lose on Sunday against QPR and then a heavy defeat at Spurs, they might have to pull the trigger because it's going to get even more toxic. But I think they're going to.
There has to be a limit, doesn't it? There has to be a breaking point where because we all say this, there's no one out there that we think get out. We all agree, but if we lose QPR, like you said, every defeat Spurs, and then you go, okay, maybe we lose against Sunderland. There has to be a point where you keep losing. And like I said, I'm not one that's in favour of sacking. I'm not calling for him, but I'm just saying, like, there's always a limit. Like, if he keeps losing, you just have to stop the rot and just get someone in because clearly something's wrong there. So I think there's a certain limit that he'll get to.
Yeah, you don't want to keep sticking with Nuno and then 4 or 5 games go the season, we're confirmed relegated and they sack him. What's the point of that? If you're going to do it now, and you might be able to get someone in. I don't know who, but you might get someone in that can get a tune out of these players. But it's I don't see it at the moment. I mean, people have mentioned Michael Carrick. I don't think Michael Carrick would do a good job at West Ham. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a difficult one.
100%, mate. Let me get some comments going before we move in. Talking about the Nuno thing, you can't even be a human and show humility these days. The thing is, I think it's humility if you do that. You see someone at a funeral. You don't go, "Hey, how's it going, mate? Good to see you. Happy to see you, mate." You're like, "Yeah, nice one, mate." But you have that bit of.
But this is what I'm saying. There was nothing wrong with him as he's walking onto the pitch to get to his own players. As a Forest player comes up to him, shaking his hand, well played, good to see you. I'll see you down the tunnel, or I'll come and see you after. Do you know what I mean? It ain't like all them players are going to get changed and they're buggering off. They're going to go and get changed. They're going to be hanging about, getting on the coach to go back to the hotel or back to Forest, whatever they're doing. So it ain't like he could have got round all the West Ham players and done that behind closed doors. Do you know what I mean? It's not about you're saying you can't even be human. Show me him. You can, but you need to remember you are a figure of West Ham United. You're not a figure of Nottingham Forest. Yeah, so you've got to act a certain way. And as I said, you can go up to a player, you can shake their hand, you can say, "Well played," and you say, "I'll see you after. I'll come and see you after. I'll pop in the dressing room and come and see you after." Do you know what I mean? There's ways and means of doing it. We've all played football at a different standard, completely different standard. I get it, yeah. But when you step onto that pitch, your best mate might be playing on that other team, but the first thing you're going to try and do is boot him up in the air. And then after the game, once it's all done and dusted, when you're in the changing room, you're sitting there laughing and joking. There's ways and means of doing it.
Well, no, I agree, mate. Lewis says, "Boys, do you see them getting rid of Nuno even after sending 50 million on 2 strikers?" Like I said, I'll just repeat what I said. Everyone has a limit. Like, they don't want to, But if we lose, there's going to be a point where it's just untenable, I think. Like, so we'll have to see how these results go. But I don't think they're going to sack him readily. Matt says, chaps, have you seen the link from the board about Potter? Now, is this unsourced rumor Reddit thing that you sent us, Scott?
I believe so, yeah.
That we so Scott shared this in the chat, right? The group chat, and it was this what you're talking about, the unsourced massive. I've just got massive sourceless rumor story on fan forums about Lopetegui and Potter decision from the board. Now this is a long old read, but so Scott said it. Once I saw the headline, massive sourceless rumor, I kind of went, it's on Reddit and it's a massive. It's not like media or something, so I kind of swerved it. I mean, I don't know if anyone read it and can give us the highlights of what are the gist, but I just thought that.
It's like when someone sends me a joke on WhatsApp. If it's over 5 lines, I just don't bother reading it. I just scroll to the end and send a laughing emoji. Yeah. Sometimes I need to read it because they could be telling me something really sad, and then I'm sending them a laughing emoji. But yeah, once I see how long it was, I was like, I'll wait for someone to do a breakdown video and talk about it.
It was very boring and a long read, right? But basically, I mean, it looks like that within the boardroom, there's a big split in what people want. So you look at reading into it. Certain people want to build for the future using young players and a coach to have this plan and adapt everything to the plan. And other people in the boardroom want this, let's splash the cash, get good players in and get European football season after season. And there's a big mix. And apparently, according to this rumour, Potter come in to work with youngsters and build this project and was told to get rid of the players who are on the big money. Which, when you start looking into that is that why Alvarez went out the door? Is this why Emerson went out the door? Is why Kudus went out the door? Because these players are on the big money. So there's sort of, even though this is a sourceless rumour, there's sort of legs to it. And then you start looking at, so where's this divide in the boardroom? Is, what members of the board want this quick fix, let's earn as much money as we can out of the club and get as much European football, and what's this? We need to build a project and have something sustainable for the future. And you looking at that, if that's true, you've got half the ball pulling in one direction and the other half pulling in another direction, which just ensues chaos. Which, funny enough, is a bit like how we are at the moment.
I've just put it through Chat GPT. And I'm just seeing if there's anything that you missed. One side believe paying 90 to 100% of revenue and wages were unsustainable and wanted the 2023 Rice sale money used on infrastructure, academy, and younger assets instead of older ready-made signings. Another side allegedly cared more about short-term sustainability, and buying ready-made players would help secure regular European football income. I mean, Joe, stop there. Like, what? It's an interesting, like, I mean, we've heard about splits in the board since going back to the Potter days. But what do you guys think about that? Like, if you was to pick a side on, basically putting the Rice money into infrastructure, the academy, and younger players instead of ready-made signs, and the other like saying we need ready now players. Let's buy the older players and go now. And like, where do you?
It's at the end of the day, it's a results business, and managers, I think most managers would want to go out and buy experience, and to win football games. But you want to do a mix where you want to, say for instance, Fernandes, Potts, and Magassa. Imagine having them three now, how old they are now, 2 or 3 seasons ago. Do you know what I mean? It'd be easier to bring them into the squad and develop them. Now they're just being sort of chucked in.
And another part of that that's just come to my mind is that they were saying about that sort of thing, right, where you get a Potts and a Fernandes, but you put them in there with a JWP. Do you know what I mean? So you've got that experienced head in there with your younger, fitter, quicker players. So you've got the right people. There was also something in there about captaincy and how Bowen was to be stripped of being captain.
Oh, here we go. I got it here. Potter wanted to replace departing dressing room leaders with experienced leaders, ideally British, but the arrivals didn't provide the vocal leadership he felt needed. A plan to potentially change captaincy away from Bowen was dropped because there was no obvious vocal replacement. So it's to say that if he did get this vocal replacement in, he would have stripped the captaincy of Bowen, which right now is quite popular. It would be a popular decision. But I've maintained this, like especially then when we was in a situation where he has been our best player. I don't think he would have been happy to have the captaincy stripped for newcomers. I don't think he would have responded well to that at all.
It sort of depends on the role, because you can have a club captain and a team captain. We've done that before under like when Nobes was in charge, and you had Creswell as well that was sort of off the pitch stuff. So you can have that. So if they would have pulled Bowen aside and said, "Look, you was captain under a different manager. I see things different." I know, yeah, it would have been. I think Bowen would have been more probably embarrassed, but I'm sure he would have if it was a professional.
He said it's one of his proudest achievements in his career was being West Ham captain. I've heard him say it. It's a big deal to him.
I agree, and I think that it would have been harsh, but sometimes, I mean, when you look at it now, there's a lot of fans saying he shouldn't be captain. So maybe Potter identified that early on when he was at West Ham. Maybe he didn't have that vocal, because I can't see Bowen being the sort of captain who's in the changing room screaming and shouting, which you haven't got to be. Listen, there's been great captains that don't scream and shout. Not everyone has to be a Roy Keane or a Julian Dix type player. As much as we'd love them, I'd love a Roy Keane type player or a Julian Dix player screaming now. But yeah, it would have been harsh. But yeah, I think someone said that Gary from the Bobby Moore stand done a video on it, so I might go and watch that later or tomorrow just to sort of get the breakdown and look a bit more into it.
The thing is, right, is that when you look at this, right, yeah, it may have put Bowen's nose out of joint a bit, right, but it has worked before where you've brought someone into the club and made them captain, and they've been a good captain for the club, right? Kevin Nolan brought into the club, made captain. Lucas Neal brought into the club, made captain. Yeah, these were two people who were vocal leaders, right? And when you're looking at where the position we're in now, we need a vocal leader. We need someone in that dressing room kicking people up the arse, because this softly captaincy, he leads by example on the pitch. It's not inspiring players to stand up and be counted. And look, I know people say we shouldn't have to be and all this type, but it's the way we are, right? Sometimes you need a bit of a push from somebody else. And having a vocal captain, the key part of football is communication. You know, if the team doesn't talk, if you've not got a leader who talks on the pitch, if your goalkeeper don't talk to his back four, if the centre-half ain't talking to the players in front of him, there's a breakdown.
I'm getting deja vu, Scott, from when you were saying that Kilman should be our captain when we signed him.
Yeah, but it's not about whether it's Kilman. Kilman might not be the right person to be captain.
But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes, Scott, you don't just stick the armband on someone because they was captain somewhere else. You know what I mean?
And Dan, I don't disagree with you. Right, I get.
Otherwise, they should stick the armband on Bowen if he goes Liverpool.
But but that's it. But sometimes you need a true leader, and unfortunately for Bowen isn't a true leader.
Yeah, but I think we've gone.
The thing is with a captain as well is they haven't always got to be the greatest player, but if they command respect and players look up to them, that's a big thing as well. And sometimes, I mean, it's modern day football. I don't think players, not all players, there are some players out there, but I don't think most players now respect other players. You know, I agree with you, Scott. When we went down and Kevin Nolan come into the club, he had no affiliations with West Ham. He was just brought in, given the captain's armband, and he completely changed that dressing room. You hear about the stories that the first thing he done was made the players get their wives and girlfriends. They took them up on the Thames on a night out on the boat. You know, And it's things like that. Like I think Jesse Lingard said it when he joined West Ham, and you hear that story about when he got in the back of the car and he was with Noble and a couple of other players. He had his phone. And Noble was like, "No, mate, we don't have phones here. Like we talk." And that, and Jesse Lingard was like, "This was so different to Man United," and he appreciated it and he preferred it. So there are different ways of being a captain and that. But yeah, I always, I was happy when Bowen was given the armband, because I thought he could really take it on. But I think it has affected his game a little bit. I think it has. I think the pressure, I think when things ain't going right, we know down the years, even in the recent years, everyone targets the captain. Noble's had it, Nolan had it, Lucas Neal had it, Rio Coker had it. There's loads of captains. Upson deserved it, by the way. But there's loads of captains out there that some can take the pressure and some can't. I'd rather see Bowen stripped to that armband and back to his best than him wear that armband and player he is now.
Yep. Let me just touch on some more of these bullet points, because there's some interesting stuff that's now it's a little bit more digestible. Yeah, but when it's in bullet point form, it's like much better. Like you ain't got all the waffle. So when it became clear that Lopetegui wouldn't deliver Europe, which they wanted, that was his thing, I guess. Board shifted opinion to hiring Potter, seeing as a coach who can work with limited funds and develop young players. This was the same guy that played a midfield of Souček, Rodriguez, and James Ward-Prowse, and didn't have Potts, who he'd played in preseason, anywhere near that at all. So, and I don't think he was giving Magassa much of a look in. So that's funny. And apparently Potter, like you said, Scott, you said that he was hired on a plan to cut wages, results being secondary as long as the club avoided relegation, which is weird to me because it says he was told not to discuss the plan publicly and to present West Ham as a big club, not a development project. But like, if that's the case, they've sacked him awfully early in the season. Right, if his thing is like, do you know what? As long as we start, we don't matter if we finish 17th, right? Just get the wages down, and then we'll be fine. We'll be happy with you. And then what was it like at the beginning of September? They've sacked him, so that seems weird to me. That story.
And this is the thing, though, Dan. And then this is where it leads you to the board and the problems within the board. Who does that sound like? You need to come in and you need to get the wages down. And this is where the thing, and this is again why you can sit there and say some of this as high possibilities of being true, because certain things like that you can see certain people within our board doing.
Yeah,
and this is it. Like you said, they sacked him early, and when you look at it, did they just sack him so they guaranteed to get Nuno because they were scared Nuno would go somewhere else?
Yeah, that's probably pushed their hands because they've looked what Nuno's done with Forest last season and thought, let's get him. And if Nuno had been in a job, maybe Potter would have lasted a bit longer. We don't know, although there was other people linked with it. Bilic was linked with the job. All these other people were linked. So, but yeah, that's an interesting one. Just for a few more, it says after joining, Potter allegedly faced internal resistance, including a key figure who barely communicated with him. I think that's Steidton. That's just me guessing based on that. In the summary, was told he had zero budget and could only spend a portion of player sales, creating conflict and highlighting the lack of boardroom utility. Don't make me feel sorry for Graham Potter. Don't make me sympathise with Graham Potter. Oh my God! I mean, if that's true, you've got to feel for him in a way. I mean, I hate the decisions he made at the start of the season in the midfield. I hate the players he let go because, to me, Soufal, he said he'd take a wage cut. That's got nothing to do with bringing the cost of wages down. That's just not him wanting him, And so, if that's true, then he's been sort of hung out to dry. Although I guess when they interviewed him, they kind of told him what he was there for. But that's no wonder we're in such a fucking mess.
The thing is, when a manager's out of work and they go for these interviews, they'll say yes to anything. If the ball turn and say, "Oh, you're gonna have no money, you got to use this," they're just gonna say yeah because they back themselves to do it. When you do hear things like that, I agree. You do feel a bit sorry for Potter, and I'd love to be I'd love to be a fly on the wall in some of these board meetings and to hear what they actually do talk about, and who's saying what and what decisions are being made. Because at the moment, I mean, it's not only this season. We could go back the last few seasons. It's been run like a shit show, Yeah. So it'd be interesting if one day, if Potter, Lopetegui, maybe Nuno, if he gets a sack, come out and actually tell the truth about what's going on behind the scenes, because it makes you think that sometimes it's easy to blame the manager. I mean, look, Nuno's subs and tactics and starting lineups are questionable, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. No, this is the problem, isn't it? Like, because it is frustrating, but we are that big of a mess of a club where you can't rule out anything. You cannot rule out none of this, and it's like Scott said, it's all totally believable. The
thing is as well is you look at Potter, right? Potter was, in a way, was his biggest thing was he tried these certain things in pre-season with like we said, he played Potts in pre-season. Potts was really good in pre-season. He played Marshall at times, right? And then as soon as the season starts, Potts don't even get a look in. Right? And I'm not sitting here saying Potts is the answer. Potts is the reason why, if we had played Potts, we would have won the games at the start. I ain't saying that. But he played the kid and never gave him a chance. But you're there to bring you through. And said we all knew that the midfield that were being picked, we could see it.
He played the slowest midfield, got time and time again. We kept getting done out the same way. Like, he just chose that. That's on him.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I'm saying. And that's why when you're looking at it, it was on him eventually, because he didn't trust.
Yeah, I agree. They make their decisions. Like when Nuno come in and he started playing right backs, left back, and left backs, right back. He plays a left centre back, right centre back, and a right centre back, left centre back. I don't get that. Play them on their comfortable side.
I don't think Sullivan's told him to do that. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So
that's it. Yeah.
Managers are responsible in that extent, like with tactics, because you look at the midfield we had at the beginning of the season. We were starting Rodriguez, Ward-Prowse, and Souček. Now we're starting Potts, Magassa, and Fernandez, who are young, energetic, and a lot better and quicker on the ball, but we're still losing. So then you've got to look. I look at the defence has been a shambles this season. I mean, it was nice to see the training pictures today, and Wan-Bissaka's back in training. So I reckon he'll get some minutes on Sunday, which is good. So the quicker we get Diouf back as well, the better. Yeah. And if we can go out and get a commanding centre-back in this transfer window, which I know they're prioritising now. I think we was linked with a goalkeeper. I think we offered, was it Man City? James Trafford?
Yeah, or I think they've offered us. Is it
they offered us Ortega?
Yeah.
I was going to get to that goalkeeper thing in a bit, actually, to see what you guys think about that. But
and before we go there, to like touching on what you said about the midfield, right, and thinking, when you watch some of the games back, right, and this is the problem that we get overrun so easily. Yeah, I said after the Brighton game, when you watch our midfield's all over the place. There's no structure to our midfield whatsoever. The systems that we seem to play allow us to get either overrun through the midfield because there's no structure of who's actually sitting and who's actually pushing on, but also out wide. We've got no width. You see the fullbacks many a time. Bowen's not tracking runners because he's got to try and get forward, and we're asking a lot of Somerville and Bowen. And then when you look at it, you're then asking a lot of Ollie Scholes and KWP because they're getting doubled up on, because they're not getting the support from the players in front because of the system. The system is you're playing this 3-man midfield with this 3-man attack. You can't have all 3 midfielders bombing forward, which is what you seem to have.
I agree, Scott. And the thing is with like Fernandez, Potts and Magassa, no disrespect to them, I think they will become leaders when they grow a bit more, but they're not leaders at the moment. That's why they need someone in there to command the midfield and dictate, tell them when to drop, tell them when to go. And at the moment, they just look like 3 youngsters that are enjoying playing and they all just want to get forward where no one really sits. Saying that, though, the other day, I thought Fernandez sat a little bit. I don't think that suits him. I prefer him when he goes further up the pitch. I don't think that suits his game.
No.
He's the guy you want on the ball driving forward. You know, and the thing I like about Fernandes, he's always looking. Potts is the same. They're always looking for the ball. You know, and that's what you want, especially when you're playing, when you're not going well. You still want your players to be looking. You don't want players to go and hide, right? And that's what that's what we want to see. But I said you've got to have one of the three of them. If you're playing that 3-man midfield, someone has to be sitting the whole time, especially if you're expecting your fullback to get forward, because literally you've got to have. Souček done it a few times against Forest. He dropped in as a third centre-half. Alvarez was brilliant at doing it. Funny enough, Rodriguez can also do it. But they sit in that midfield, and as soon as the fullbacks bomb forward, they just go as a third centre-half. That's it. You know, they're sitting, if they're the other team playing one up front, they'll sit just in front of the two centre-halves. The two centre-halves deal with the striker. But they sit there and they cover. They cover side to side, work like a crab. Makaleli was one of the best players ever to do that. Working like a crab, side to side, break up the play, give the ball to the players that can go and do what they do. Right? We've got players that can do things with the ball. We just haven't got that guy who just sits there and breaks up the play.
Yeah. I agree, mate. I agree. And hopefully we can bloody address that in the summer. It depends if we're up. But it's just 2 more points, Scott. Just 2 more bullet points, Scott.
Go on, mate.
Late, incomplete. This is interesting, this one. That's why I wanted to get to it. Late, incomplete recruitment left holes in the squad after a heavy defeat, mentioned as 3-0 to Sunderland. Potter told the squad to expect a relegation fight. This was leaked upwards, leading to a confrontation from a senior figure who wanted Potter to deliver more of a big club. Losing is unacceptable message. Potter refused. I mean, that is interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. We've according to this, we've lost to Sunderland. And he's gone to the players and said, listen, lads, we're in a relegation scrap this season. That's where we are. And someone's leaked that to that. I'm going to guess maybe Sullivan or someone. And they've gone in going, no, that's the wrong mindset. I don't know how to feel.
What Potter could have said after that 3-0 defeat is if you play like that every week, you'll be in a relegation battle. I can't imagine after day one, Potter would have said, yeah, we're in a relegation battle.
But do you think that's combined though, right, with the knowledge that he's not going to be backed in the summer? Like they've already told him prior to that game, this is what you got to work with. You're feeding on scraps here, mate. And he's looked at the team. He's looked at what he's got in prison. Looks at the team and going, yeah, like we're in a relegation with what we've got. We ain't got enough.
It could be. It could be that, but then you don't know who's leaking it from the changing room, and there's a lot of leaks in this club, isn't there? Like everyone seems to want a grassy cover up, and that's the problem with our club at the moment.
The thing is, right, is that when you look at that, right, if he's true, he's come out and said that he knows he's not going to get backed in the summer transfer window and get players in, and he feels that it's going to be a difficult season. There's ways of saying it. Like you said, there's ways of saying it. You can say, lads, look, we ain't going to get any reinforcements in. I thought we're going to get a couple more players to add a bit more depth to the squad. We're going to be in a bit of a scrap at least till January. And hopefully the board will give us a bit. There's ways and means of doing it. But again, if you're saying that to players in that sense, but then also causing your own problems by picking a midfield that had no legs in it, do you know what I mean? This is the problem. Do
you remember when Moyes said it at Sunderland? He took over Sunderland. He said it. I think it was like a press conference day one, early on in his run. He came out of press and said, "We are in a relegation battle this season." Everyone was like, "What? Like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, you can't come out and say that." Similar vibes, but Moyes said it publicly so everyone could hear it.
Exactly. You've got to try and look at it and say, look, and that's it. That's the way you do it. It's going to be tough this season. We need more bodies through the door. We've got a small squad. We need to build, but we're going to get our heads down. We're going to knuckle through it, and we're going to give the best account of ourselves that we can. And then you use your squad wisely for the players that you have got. He never did that.
Do you know what though? That whole big club is losing unacceptable message. It seems like. That earlier statement there of not wanting him to come out and say that he's being asked to sell high-earning players and work with youngsters and build, and them saying, no, we want people to see us as a big club. It's like they want us to have the appearance of a big club, but not actually act like a big club. Do you know what I mean? Not actually move like a big club. It's like we want everyone to think it, but we're not actually going to act like it. And that's what this says to me. These things are there.
Yeah. But the thing is there's different levels of what you class as a big club. You know, we are a big club in the sense of we've got a big fan base. You know, we're well supported. We're well, you know. So I'm trying to think about how to put it. So you look at teams like Manchester United, Manchester City. They're big clubs because of the history that they've got, for the revenue that they generate, and for the players that they have. Right, not so much Man United now, but they're a big club. We're what I call a sleeping giant. Right, a bit like Newcastle, massive fan base, loyal fan base. You know, known all around the world. With the right investment and the right things, we could become a big club. So we were a selling club, right? Back under the Browns and all that, we was a selling club. It was like, right, let's produce these youngsters and sell them for profit, and then try and find another crop of youngsters, right? We started to slowly move away from that, right? Even with Rice, we knew Rice was too big for the football club, and eventually he would be sold, but we made good money on him, right? But we wasn't a selling club at that point. We've now gone back to being a selling club. We've now gone back to, well, we're pretending to be one of the big boys, but we're not a big boy. You know, we're just going to keep saying that we are, and keep feeding the fodder that we are, but we're not. And that is where we've gone back to being a selling club, getting rid of high wage players, getting rid of the talent. You know, trying to cash in on players whenever we can. You know, not that we're very good at cashing in on players. You know, we've got good money for Rice, but we don't get good money for anyone else. I think Rice is one of the only players we made a profit on under Sullivan, and that goes and tells you the situation that the club's in. You know, we're not. I hate to say it, we're not a big club yet. We haven't got the right structure to be what I class as a big club.
Well, I think there's tiers. So I look at us as one of the traditional like big club. I think you have elite clubs. I think you have the top clubs, right? So your Liverpools, your Man Uniteds, all that upper echelons. And I think we are, like, in the grand scheme of Premier League teams, right? I think we're in that next tier below the top six and all of that. I think we're somewhere, whether you think we're the top of that tier, the middle of that tier, the bottom of that tier. Like us as a big club, I'd say Leeds are a big club, Newcastle are a big club, Villa are a big club, but we're not the top club. And yeah, there's a good comment there as well.
When people speak about big clubs, they automatically look at trophies and things like that. But we are a big club in the sense that we've been around for a long time. You know, as Scott said, we've got a massive fan base. You know, I know it hasn't been great this season, but we've been selling out a 65,000 seat stadium week in, week out when it was going well. Away days are always sold out. West Ham are known all around the world. We've got rich history, traditions, you know. So that sense, we are a big club. When it comes to trophies, we're not. We're not, obviously. We know that. We're not the Man Uniteds, the Liverpools, the Real Madrids, the Arsenals, Chelseas. We know we're not that. Like, you could say the same for, like, sort of Tottenham when you look at their history. Like, their trophy cabinet is not in the likes of Liverpool, United and that, but they are still a big football club. Like, there's no denying it, you know? So I agree. You look at that bracket of like Leeds, Newcastle, Villa, you know, people say, you can even look at Forest. Forest have got a rich history, especially in Europe. They won back-to-back European champions, you know?
I think it's fan base. We can go toe to toe with most outside of, you know, the.
I mean, look, you only had to be in Prague to realise how big our fan base was, and you only had to be here when we done the parade to see how big our fan base is. You know, you go anywhere around the world, you'll see someone in a West Ham shirt, or you'll see a West Ham supporters club, and that. It's Look, when the start of the season, only one team can win the league, only one team can win the FA Cup. You know, only one team can win the Champions League. Not everyone's going to win trophies. You can't win trophies season in, season out for clubs like us. So, like, when we won in Prague, it meant more to us than probably, I don't know, City when they won their 7th Premier League title. You know, they still love it, the fans, don't get me wrong, but they've done it before, where we haven't. So it's we're a long way off ever competing with the likes of challenging for the Premier League title and that We need a new ownership, and fingers crossed that'll never happen to us.
The thing is, like when you look at what Dan was saying about elite clubs, right? You look at City. City are an elite club because of the money they're allowed to spend. Fan base wise, they're probably not as big as us, Leeds, Newcastle.
No offense to them, I think I've always thought we've got a bigger fan base than Man City, especially like I say even now. Obviously, they've picked up a load of new fans.
Yeah,
but even still, like you look at their ground sometimes, and they've had a small fan base.
You say that Division 1, they were still selling out Main Road.
That's what I say is a loyal. I think they have a loyal fan base, and I think like us, they actually lost quite a few of them when they changed. Like the new ownership come in. Like I've known of a lot of City fans when they started. All these ones who went in Division 1 started seeing all these tourists come and all these new faces. They were like, "Nah, this ain't the same club. This ain't my Man City," and they stopped going. So I think they have that core fan base, but I think
I get that, but no Man City fan would ever swap going back to Division 1 than what they've won in the last 10 years, 15 years. Yeah. They wouldn't.
No. You know but again, it's about culture, isn't it? Like they might say no, I don't want us to be successful. They might not say that, but to see like for us on the stadium, right? We go to the football, and like some of us, like me and you, Ryan, we don't go anymore. Obviously, me and you had different reasons why, but a lot of fans stop going because they go, "This ain't like the West Ham that I fell in love with." People are going there and going, they're seeing tourists at West Ham, and like loads of them, and by tourists. I know people get so upset by the word tourist. I don't mean like a West Ham fan that's fucking travelled abroad. I'm talking about non-West Ham fans, the Man United fans. They're looking at it and going, "This ain't for me." And I know of a lot of Man City fans that did that. But Big Steve said, look, he wouldn't change his journey for anything, coming from Division 1 and all that. I just think, like, for us, we sold out Upton Park in the championship because we had a loyal fan base, a smaller ground. They had a smaller ground. I honestly believe that we're similar clubs with both loyal fan bases, but I think there's more West Ham fans than Man City fans, especially before the money.
Before the money, mate, right? Bearing in mind, we've all been travelled around different countries, right? And be honest, before Man City got the money, how many times did you walk into a bar, or when you've been on holiday, did you bump into a Man City fan or see a Man City hanging? Always saw a Newcastle, always saw a Liverpool, always saw a Leeds, always saw a West Ham, always saw a Villa. Do you know what I mean? I've even been places, remember seeing Forests.
Yeah.
And this thing, I never ever remember seeing a Man City shirt.
Even now, I rarely see City shirts in London. Like I remember seeing one, right, and I looked at him like he was fucking like an alien or something. It's like even now, I rarely see people with City shirts. You know what I mean? Outside.
No, listen, I get what you're saying, but I think that Man City, like. I think they have got, even before all the money, they had a big fan base. As I said,
I'm not saying they're a tiny club or anything. I respect them.
Sell out, and bearing in mind where they are, and who they was competing with back in the early 90s. Now, Man United were the biggest club in the world, and still probably are. I know they're not doing great the last few years, but
still though, you say look at us though, right? They're not just competing with Man United in terms of sharing the fans. We compete with Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea.
I get that. That's why,
every fucker.
Yeah, we've got a lot to compete with in London, and we still sell out the stadium. I know as I said, I know it hasn't been that full this season, but look, results change things because when we was in Europe and we was having great run in Europa League and the Conference League, them games were always selling out. Mm-hmm. If someone come in now and bought the club, and in 2 years' time they invested a lot of money and we was competing for the Premier League, that ground will be sold out week in, week out. I do think that results and performances obviously affect, people ain't going to say, if West Ham are challenging for the title and back in Europe, people are not going to say, I'm not going over there because there's tourists, because I get that with tourists, but anywhere you go in the world, no matter what sport, there's always going to be tourists. When I went to New York, I went to watch the Yankees. I'm basically a tourist. So if they're in London and they want to go and watch a game of football, That's
Do you know what I hate, right? It's not even like, so if you go and watch, say we go to Spain, right, and we go and watch Barca, or we go to a Barca game, or we go to a Sevilla game or something, we go into that game as fans of West Ham going to see another team in another league. We get so many people that come to our games that are fans of other Premier League teams. And that's the thing that kind of rubs people's noses the wrong way, because it's like, well, go, you're in fucking England, go and watch them teams, like, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I get that, and I totally understand that. Like, I would never go if someone said to me, "Oh, do you want to come and watch? I don't know, fucking Arsenal at home next weekend and sit in the Arsenal end." I wouldn't do it.
No,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't go to another Premier League team. If someone said to me, "Oh, do you fancy if West Ham ain't playing this weekend? Do you fancy going over Dagenham and Redbridge?" I probably would go.
yeah.
But I wouldn't go and sit in a rival club that we compete in the same league with.
No,
but look, it's one of those. If you love football, you I've said this before. I've been in the Palace end when they've been playing Chelsea. I've been there twice watching Palace play Chelsea and thinking, I'm not there supporting Palace, but when Palace scored, I stood up, I applauded because I'm in with their fans. If you enjoy a game of football, you enjoy a game of football. What I call a tourist, because I know we have a lot of fans from abroad who watch the channel, right? And these are West Ham fans as much as I'm a West Ham fan, as much as you're a West Ham fan, right? But let's get it straight. They're not tourists, right? They're just people who love West Ham who live in another country, right? So when they come over, what do? They join in, they get involved, right? Because they're passionate West Ham fans. Yeah. A tourist is, like you said, he's someone who turns up at the London Stadium dressed completely in an Arsenal hat, an Arsenal jacket at a West Ham versus Chelsea game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something along that, or a West Ham versus Liverpool, and they're standing there in a full Arsenal outfit, right?
It's weird, isn't it? Because like
this happens
with the NFL, Scott. You see other fans go and watch NFL in London, and they've all got different jerseys on. It's a different sport. I know that, and it's a different. And I agree. Like I've seen people walk around in Arsenal shirts and Chelsea hats and Liverpool scarves and that at the London Stadium, and I mean that would never have happened at Upton Park, but it's modern day football now, isn't it? It's sort of allowed. People allow it.
But that's the thing. That's why so many people are walking away from it. Not just our crowd, modern day football in general, because that we enjoy the tribalism. We like people. I like the tribalism. I like to sit there and say, I fucking hate your team. I hate Spurs. Right? I don't want to see a Spurs fan sitting in my end. Like, it's a culture. It's the culture of the game. And when you lose that,
when you do sit in, when you go and watch a game, right? So I went to West Ham Arsenal, right, and I sat in the Arsenal fans because my mate got me a ticket in there, right?
Fucking hell, Scott, you ever sat in the West Ham end?
The one thing you don't do is if your team score, you stand up and scream and shout and cheer.
Yeah. Or what they do, right, is the opposition players have got a fucking penalty, and you're doing that. Yeah. And like we're about to concede the fucking penalty, and you're doing that. I've seen that so many times.
Do you remember last season, Dan? Someone went to someone doing that, and he went, "Oh, I really like Fabianski. Yeah. I want to see if he saves it."
Yeah. Nick Tucker was the one I think confronted him. He started putting his hand. He go, "What are you doing?" Like, I think I'm sure it was. I remember
when I went to the Liverpool game this season. I was obviously standing next to Nick, and we see it. There was a row. I think they was second row in, right near the corner flag. When a Liverpool player come over to take the corner, all four of them got their phones out and they're recording him. Like, you can tell straight away who's not a West Ham fan, because even when the singing's going on, they're not singing. They're looking around. They don't know you. The only song they joined in was Bubbles, but I think they were doing that just as a piss take, to be honest.
I remember it really nearly kicked off where I was when the Arsenal beat us 6-0 and Rice scored that the 6th goal. Bloke beat a kid behind us, started celebrating. West Ham fans started coming in. His uncle who brought him was a West Ham fan and was like, "Oh, listen, lads, listen. No, I'm West Ham. He's just young. He's young." It's like people are going, "Tell him, don't fucking do that." I don't say this. He started celebrating that goal. Like, people don't like that shit.
I want to see the video of Messi's son celebrating when Ronaldo scored against them. because he's a massive
Fucking
fan of
hell,
Ronaldo. It's the problem is when they're that young, you sort of
he wasn't a little kid, by the way. I'll say that. When I was saying this, if I say young, like he was like, I want to say he was like 19 or something, like
See,
18.
you're old enough to know better at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're 10, 11, 12.
I did not say the Arsenal. I did not call them fuckers the Arsenal. So did Dad really just say the Arsenal game's gone? I find that embarrassing. I said the Arsenal game. I think that's embarrassing. They call themselves the Arsenal. How many fucking Arsenals are there? We're the Arsenal. Sorry, that triggered me from Fortune's Island Down Under. But yeah, it's a load of shit, isn't it? Modern day football crap. But yeah, so Nick, by the way, we haven't talked about transfers yet. Shout out to Nick Clout at Booze. He says, lads, got a new name for you. I'm going to give it Kim at Bayern, giant mobile Japanese monster. Apparently he's Korean. Monster 29, leader. Don't know how we would get that deal done, but it's a name I've been passed to add to the pile. Now, listen, in our state, it's going to be hard to get these teams done. I don't know what his English is like if he's a leader. But I tell you what, the club will be rubbing their hands together at a Korean player, mate. They'll be like, oh, like how they haven't gone and bought an Asian player yet is mad. Like that's mad.
Well, we
don't want that.
We went and bought a Japanese player, bought them for the ladies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've got some good ones.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. We don't. But it amazes me that with our hierarchy, we don't try and do that. Well, if the rumours are true about the Neymar deal, then we are trying to do that. But we'll have to.
I tell you what, though, Koreans are very.
I just want to sign the right players. I don't care what their name brings, and because we had the same thing when we signed Kudus. We went mad with the Ghana fans. We've lost a load of Ghana fans on this channel now because Kudus is gone, but. Yeah. I just want the right players. Like, don't bother me if they're big in Asia, big in Australia, big in America, wherever. I just want the right players for this football club, whether they're British or whatever.
Exactly, that's it. But that's the thing. That's what you want: the right players with the right attitude who want to win and want to help us.
Yeah, but like El Chico says, he's not leaving for us, but. No, at some point when you're in a stable position, you think, cool, can we get a decent Korean player? Then because it grows the reputation of the club, in over there. And like you see what Son has done for Spurs over there. Obviously they're shit now. So
as someone just said, they've lost a lot of them going over there now because Son's left.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they end up being more. You hope that I think there's some of them that stay. You're not going to keep all of them. Some end up staying. Look, we've had people that say, I've supported West Ham because they had this player, when it was from my country back in the day.
Well, we still get the Ghanaian Hammers. The Ghanaian Hammers still go West Ham. They supported West Ham before we even signed Kudus. So
they supported him before. But what I'm saying is some of the new players that you bring, that these players bring, some of them stay. Not all of them. No. Some of them will stay.
We had the same. We had the same when we signed Hernandez. Chicharito. We had all the Mexicans, Mexican fans supporting West Ham, and every time you put a video with Hernandez's title in it, it'd get shared and you'd get the views on it. Because
same with Alvarez. Yeah,
Alvarez.
Yeah, they're loyal, but yeah, like I said, I always used to hear stories from certain foreign fans. Like, oh yeah, I supported when you signed this club, and it's like, and I always look at them and go, oh, and you still stayed supporting because you do expect some people to leave when we sell them. But so some do, a lot of them fuck off. But yeah,
if you want to grow a big fan base in America, just release a film called Green Street, and then you'll get a big fan base.
Yeah, that's probably like the number one fucking reason why we've got a fan base in America. I know so many Americans that were like Green Street, man, Green Street. Like, what was it? Flipping Enner Valencia. I think when we signed, and even Enner Valencia, I know he's not American, but when we signed him, he was like, oh yeah, Green Street. Like, and I was like, bloody hell, that film is massive. That is a big fucking deal. We got quite a few fans out of that. But just lastly, lads, go on, mate.
I was just gonna say rest in peace, Pete Dunham, by the way. Sacrificed it.
Yeah.
Fucking Tommy Hatcher.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, mate, what Green Street are they up to now? Was it
Well,
5?
funny enough, they're actually making another one with the original cast, obviously not Pete Dunham. And it's like 20 years on, but it's the same director who does Rise of the Foot Soldier, Nick Nevin. They're talking about doing a Green Street too. That Leo Gregory.
Bloody Burt back.
No, yeah, but I don't know about him. But Leo Gregory, who obviously played Bother in it, even though he's Tottenham in real life, by the way. Yeah, no, that'd be interesting. I know they went up to number 3. I think number 2 is where it lost me when West Ham fans got put in prison with Millwall fans, and then because he got overcrowded, they played a match and whoever won got released from prison. That's where they lost it.
What the fuck? I did not know that. That's fucking hilarious. You win, you free.
Number three was funny enough. Number 3 was filmed like round where I used to work and round Canning Town and Star Lane and that, because they used the TKO gym. And number 3 was more about underground fighting against rival hooligans, which is a bit more realistic than playing each other to get out of prison.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
crazy, man. That's crazy.
Honestly, I can't get over that. Like, listen, lads,
no, watch it.
No matter if they haven't done this, let them out early. They won a football match. When they did that in real life, you had to. I tell you what, though, if they did that in real life, those football matches would probably get more views than the fucking Premier League. Imagine that. So
so when where is it? So back in March, when I done obviously the Rise of the Foot Soldier thing, I had to film a scene with the bloke who was in Green Street. Let me see.
Oh no.
Remember him?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember you did.
Two undercover detectives there. But when he walked in, so I was in the room getting changed, and he walked in, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I went, "Mate, you part of the famous GSE?" And he's got like a really funny American twang accent because he's like British, but I think he's actually Scottish, but he's got like an American accent. And he just looked at me and went, "Yeah, man, good days." I went, "Oh, all right, mate." Whoa. I was like, it was good, man. He really enjoyed making that film. He said it was a good laugh. He said West Ham really looked after him, like the fans looked after him.
Yeah, the club hated it. They were against it. They were massively against that film.
I remember him filming it because in the film, it says that we're playing Birmingham at home, but it weren't. It was Gillingham. That was the game that they filmed it. Yeah. And I remember because me and Nicky, where we used to sit, we come in and there was like, they left leaflets on our seat to say there will be filming done here today and the actors are going to be, because I think in one part they was in the Bobby Moore Lower, and like, because they brought Elijah Wood out at half time for an interview and everyone was going, "Who the fucking hell are you?" I
think they were like, they weren't completely honest with the club about what the film entailed and what it was about. And when it come out, they was like, fucking connecting us with hooliganism again. And they was quite upset by it in the end. But I thought it was good. But people have been pointing out, but Wrexham are beating Forest in the FA Cup, which obviously isn't a good look for us. Apparently they've made a load of changes. Forest, I don't know, but yeah, it's always what you want to see is a team that's really shit beats you and then goes to loses to a championship team. They've got Douglas Luiz on, for fuck's sake. Backwards on. They've got some of the same players. There's a few changes, but yeah, that's it's always a good look, isn't it?
Yeah. The team that's just possibly renegated, you go to lose to a team that you're going to be playing next season. Great, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it. We know where we are in the pecking order in the championship, beneath Wrexham. Just last time, what do you think of us going for a keeper? Because I look at it, right, and I get it. I do get that at some point we're going to need another, because Hermansen just ain't it. Like, I think we'll know where Hermansen stands after Sunday, right? If it's Areola in goal, or Fabianski even, then Hermansen is out, right? But the way I look at it, priorities this window, like, that's just not one of them. Like, we was linked with Kinski from Spurs, that fucking geezer, which I don't know what the point is of that signing. Like, we're just going to get a panic goalkeeper signing that we're stuck with that's either as shit or just a little bit less shit than Hermansen, and then we're in the same point. I just don't see the urgency right now for a keeper.
I mean, I think that they're trying to offload Hermansen. Obviously, we paid a lot of money for him for a goalkeeper, and it hasn't worked out. So they're probably looking to offload him in January to someone. We're not going to get our money back on him, so that's another loss. But then they're probably looking into bringing in an experienced goalkeeper who can challenge Areola for that number one spot. I mean, Ortega at Man City would be one. I know we've been linked with him. I know we tried to get James Trafford. Man City ain't going to let him go. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I agree, though. I mean, the last thing I was thinking of going into this transfer window is we need a new goalkeeper. We want to start, unless they're trying to actually get goalkeepers because they think that they can play free in goal to stop a conceding fucking goals, which...
I don't know if that would help.
The problem is, right, if you look at how bad Hermansen was, right, a lot of that is Potter's fault because he threw him straight in with no pre-season, didn't allow him to sort of bed in and anything like that. You know, he literally said...
Yeah, you can't blame the owners for that, can he? And not that I'm defending them, but you can't blame them for that. That's what I mean.
No, and this is the thing. But when you look at the goals we're conceding, we can't defend a set piece. We can't protect our goalkeeper in a set piece. Whoever's working on that set pieces, attacking-wise and defensive-wise, really, really needs to be sacked massively, right? But when you look at that, Hermansen's never going to be any good for us because we don't have the right players in front of him to protect him from set pieces and stuff like that, right? His confidence is going to be shot. He hasn't been played in any game since he's been dropped, right? So he's just there as a bench warmer for training. So I understand moving him on, but like Ryan said, you're not going to get anyone who's going to be better than Areola. This is the problem, right? Areola, again, doesn't help himself, doesn't get protected enough by his defence. And, who are you going to get in that's going to be better than what you've got? Again, that's actually going to be available because let's be honest, if they're better than what we got, they're going to be playing. Unless
the only thing is they're looking for a goalkeeper now for the Championship because they're going to let Areola go because he's on big money. And then they, Fabianski, we don't know where he stands next season. They're going to need another one. I don't know, but that the whole signing for the Championship in January anyway just seems silly because the same with the Hugo when everyone said we were signing for the Championship with Hugo because it's like, well, why don't you wait to see if you get to the Championship because the summer is always a better window to sign players than January. So if we need to sign a keeper for the Championship, we'll sign this for the Championship. Sign it in the summer in the window that makes sense, and that's the summer. So I don't know whether that's what they're doing, but that's why I don't really jive with the sign for this thing. Chico thinks we should keep Hermansen. Listen, I would give Hermansen a chance on Sunday. By the way, let me quickly just acknowledge this. Rich, West Ham, £5 super chat. Thank you very much, Rich. As always, you're a star, man. Appreciate you, mate. West Ham are massive. Everywhere we go, keep the faith. Come on, you Irons. We needed to hear that, mate. We needed that one. Just on we might as well quickly touch on the QPR game. Just on that, I would actually just give Hermansen a chance. We ain't seen him all bloody season. Apparently, he fell asleep on the bench at Wolves. Give him a chance. Now we're still shit, but I don't think we're as chaotic at the back. We still leak goals, but I think we're in a little bit better position to play him in. And it's QPR. Maybe a win there will give him some confidence.
And someone made a point there as well that he's actually got a clean sheet this season, and Areola hasn't.
Not that that's anything to do with fucking Hermansen, I tell you.
No, it was just because Forest were that bad. No,
I agree with the cup game. Give Hermansen a run out. I'd like to see Kante given a start. I was thinking about George Urphy, but I read today, I think ex-employee come out earlier and said that we've agreed to loan him back to Bristol City for the rest of the season. So looks like we're losing George Urphy. But, there's a lot of young Myers. He hasn't started a game yet. Give him a chance. Obviously, if Wan-Bissaka's back, give him a run out. I don't think he's going to drop Bowen. I think he's going to play Bowen. I think he'll still keep a bit of experience in there in first team.
You need that, I think.
I'd start, obviously, for me, I'd play the two new strikers, Tati and Pablo. I keep calling him Pedro for some reason. I don't know where I've got that from. Remember when I kept calling Ferguson? I kept calling him Armstrong, didn't I?
Yeah.
Or have I got that the wrong way around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fucking honestly, Scott. I think my mind's going, mate. But
honestly, this season bloody done it to us all, mate. Let me just quickly read this. I'll let you go in. Steve WHU Belfon and Super Chat. Thank you much, Steve. One of our mods, Ledge. Says, don't do well in London derbies, lads. Yeah, I think we've lost every single London derby this season, right? Which is always a good omen going into this. And we've got to win one day. Hopefully this is it. But yeah, we've lost every London derby.
Hopefully we win back to back. But no, I think Bowen.
I'd rather win the Spurs game though, to be honest with you, if you give it to.
Oh yeah, of course. But
I'd rather give Bowen a week off, Paqueta a week off, just to just because what we have got coming up. Obviously Tottenham next weekend, then we've got Sunderland and Chelsea. Just rest a few of these players. Yeah, just rest them. Give the others a run out. See what they can do. Someone might really catch Nuno's eye in that QPR game, like someone like Kante, for instance. Everyone's been calling for him to go aside. You look at him, all right, he hasn't had Premier League experience, but you look at him as a player and you think, yeah, maybe he could fit into that team. So maybe just give him a run out and see what he can do.
Yeah, you are right, mate. And like you said, someone's commented there, with Orford and Ferran, stick him on the bench, give him some minutes. Give him see what they can do, because I think the under-21's got a big game coming up next week as well, so we've got to be a bit careful with them there. But try something different against QPR. Try something new. Try a different system. Try 4-4-2. Try something. You see with Tatty, I think if you stick a striker up alongside him, you might get more from him. Do you know what I mean? Because he likes to close down. He likes to harass defenders and try and shut them down. So we need something different. So
I think if he done something different, Scott, like if he put out, say you looked and you can see, do you know what, he is trying something different, and it weren't something completely ridiculous like what he done against Brentford and Leeds, like where you go, what the fuck are you doing? But it was something different. Like I said, playing the youngster here, putting the two new guys up, whatever, and we lost. I think from a fan base perspective, it wouldn't necessarily add a ton more pressure on him. We'd go, fucking, we lost again, but we'd go, Nuno's at least then I can see why he's rested Bowen. I can see why he's played him. I can see why he's played him. He's tried to do something different and get some new players in and see what he can do. Fair play.
Yeah, that's something different that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Playing the left back at right back and the right back at left back doesn't make sense. No. Play something that makes sense.
Give Callum Wilson a start as well, so we can cup time just in case.
Well, yeah, because someone just asked, has he officially gone yet? I thought that he had, but he hasn't.
No, he hasn't officially left yet. I think Nuno said the other day they was having discussions. So, look, I'd love to keep him for the rest of the season, but I can't see it.
Go. It's honestly, I keep saying, we've all said it till we're blue in the face, mate. It's madness. Absolutely.
It's weird though, because he weren't even on the bench like for the Forest game. So obviously, I don't think there's a way back. Possible. I think it's too late, to be honest with you.
I think Nuno's one of these managers. I think Nuno's proved it with James Ward-Prowse. Once he's made his mind up, he's made his mind up. There's no coming back. I think someone even mentioned it in the press conference today about James Ward-Prowse, and he said he's not part of my plans. So they're looking to get rid of him.
Yeah, which, like again, he's on 115 grand a week. It depends what we do, how we get rid of him. This is the problem when we just get rid of players, right? Say you loan out Ward-Prowse and we're paying a large part of his wages still, and there's no loan fee like we did with who did we fuck? Was it Fulkrug or something? I think it might be Fulkrug or something. You just think, what's the fucking point? Like you're basically just paying not to have a player there anymore. Like at least try and get something for him. Like and that's my worry. But otherwise, if we can get a decent fee for him, get his money off, I'm not mad at that. Get rid of him when you can, because you might not be able to sell him in the summer. So if the opportunity comes now, get rid of him. Corral 919 super chat says 6 out of 10 on field should be academy boys. I think it's about for QPR game. That'd be interesting. I think, you definitely need some experience. 6 out of 10 feels like an okay number. Feels,
we'll probably find watching that game on Sunday that as fans watching it at home, we'll probably be a bit more relaxed watching it, because if we go out, is anyone really bothered? I know the romance of the FA Cup and everyone loves the FA Cup, but we obviously want to stay in the Premier League. But if we get a win and there's good performances, we haven't had that winning feeling for 2 months now. So just to have that for one weekend, and then it'll give the confidence. Imagine what the training will be like going into the Spurs game next week. There'll be a lot happier place to go and work. So
that's all I care about, to be honest with you. Like, there's no part of me that if we beat QPR, I always I like you. I always call like QPR Palace for some reason. We beat QPR. There's nothing about me that's going to go, oh, like this could be our year. We go on a cup run. We could do this. We could do that. Like, it's not gonna. I'm not even going to be thinking about like the next round of the quarterfinals. I'm just going to be like, cool, we got to win. Positive for the league now. We move forward. Gets a bit of that. Like, anyone that's like looking at it and going about, but it's the romanticism of the cup. There's no romance is dead for West Ham this season. Forget your romance. Keep your roses and all of that.
The thing is, mate, if we beat QPR, we're all going to be glued to that telly watching the fourth round draw. It's still got the magic of the FA Cup because we all want to see it. And then wins breed confidence, and you never know. Like,
we just want to draw shit teams till the end, and hopefully we can at least make the final.
That's what I was just going to say. We're going to be glued to it, and that fourth round draw, it's Man United versus West Ham, or Man City, or Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Like it always.
Yeah, but Man United haven't beat us for 6 games, Scott. So
Oh
yeah,
I know. Yeah. You know,
come on.
Wrexham beat Forest 3-1. We had a Forest fan in here, by the way. That's another quick thing.
Look at that. Look at that behind me. Look, last time won the FA Cup, 1980. In my lifetime, I want to see a West Ham team lift an FA Cup in my lifetime. So,
let's 100%.
Go. Let's fucking go for it. Come on.
Goodness, the Judas is out till April as also comes. So that's another little bit of an update that obviously is not going to be available for the West Ham game, which is the West Ham Spurs. That's in the week, right? That's during the week, or is that on the weekend?
What's that?
Saturday.
West Ham Spurs. Oh, it's a Saturday. All right.
Saturday,
so we'll have an FNP before
then.
That's
a weird one. 3 o'clock away. 3 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's an odd one for that game. That's the one where you go like, we're both shit, so that game could be box office. Like, to be honest with you, but Kudus being out obviously is a boost. Like, he's been their creativity this season. It's a massive blow for them. Because, like I said, they've hardly created anything this season. Anything they have created, he's been the one creating it. So, like, they're really going to struggle to score goals now. They're going to struggle for creativity. And I don't wish people injury, but Dan, I hope they fucking what?
Have you watched us struggle to create opportunities? You've watched us, right?
I'm talking about
teams opportunities. After teams ain't going to create anything.
Right. Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about, but they just, you're right. We do shoot ourselves in the foot sometimes, but they cannot score to save their lives.
Graham go to school with Jeff Hurstad. Graham is Jeff Hurstad.
Right? You're right in what you're saying, mate. But what worries me is, as we've proven time and time again, we are the charity. We are the gift that keeps on giving because we keep doing it. And listen, I'll remain optimistic because it's West Ham, Tottenham, and sometimes we do throw up a shot there. But I don't think we've got enough people in the squad that understand that fixture.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. But again, do they we're both just flat at the moment. We're both poor. Obviously, we're worse than them. But I'm just think that for them in general, without our game or what. That could be a 0-0 that game potentially.
I think that game next week against Tottenham. I said it in the group yesterday. I think that's El Sacchio. I think if Tottenham lose to us at home, they'll sack Thomas Frank. I think if we lose heavily, I think Nuno will be gone as well. So it's a big game for both clubs.
Yeah. There's someone brought this up earlier. And Andy's shout out to Andy. He said, surely going to kick off Sunday after seeing X people sharing QPR fans got tickets in the home end. Yeah, apparently quite a few fans have picked up, picked up some home end tickets because I imagine there's many available and people are wondering if it's going to kick off now. I don't know what fans are going to be there, like what West Ham fans. Obviously, I think, Scott, are you there?
I bought the tickets thinking it was a Saturday, so I was taking my boy. So I got my ticket and then another one.
Scott's not there.
No,
but so there's going to be a lot of fans.
Nikki's
I think there's going to be a lot of them fans that, again, when we talk tourists, they're like, the West Ham, they're sort of West Ham, but they're not West Ham. They don't follow West Ham. They don't watch West Ham all the time, but they're like attached themselves to the club, and they'll be there that day. You'll have or some of the more families that aren't going to kick off as well, and people like that. So I don't know. Like, we'll have to see what type of how empty it is.
Dan,
I think it's going to be.
Dan, what are you saying there? If Scott's there, he's going to kick off.
Yeah, Scott would win some. Like, honestly, you want to see him on these Scott don't have tourists.
Scott don't have it, mate.
I totally forgot it was. I bought the tickets, bought the ticket thinking it was a Saturday kickoff, and then it got reminded it was a Sunday after I bought my ticket. So
I think originally it was a Saturday though, didn't it? And it got moved.
Yeah.
Good luck sending that back to the club, Scott.
No. I've given my ticket to Nicky because he hadn't bought his when.
Right.
My mistake.
Do you know? I see someone share this. I don't know if it was one of you in the chat or one of you on Twitter, but it's like, did you see Declan Rice got more points on his driving license than we've got?
Me in the chat.
And I'm like, did I miss something? Like, did he get done for speeding?
He got done twice in the space of a week, didn't he? And he's been given a speed awareness course, and he's been banned from driving for 6 months. I think it is.
What an idiot! How are you getting done twice in a week?
I think it was something like he was doing 27 in a 20 and 36 in a 30 or something like that. And it must be somewhere near Arsenal's training ground or something. There must be a road there but
that's somewhere you go every fucking day, like the speed.
I can't say much. I got done twice in a week once.
Oh shit! Oh right.
You can drive around London and lose your license in an hour with the amount of bloody cameras that are there in these stupid 20-mile-an-hour.
Yeah, you got to be so careful, man.
Honestly, when I first moved here and I got done twice in the space of a week, I got the first letter come through and I got a speed awareness course. I thought, thank fuck for that. Then 3 days later, I got another one come through. So when I was on my speed awareness course, and the bloke was saying, "Right, that's it. Make sure you don't do it again." I'm thinking, mate, I've already got 3 points. This is pointless. Well, it's not pointless. I've got 3 points, but
What points have we picked up in the last 2 months?
True.
But yeah, no, nice one, lads. We'll be back to talk about the QPR game, how that goes, post-match pints, all of that stuff. Is it on telly?
Discovery Plus.
Yeah.
Discovery Plus. Okay, I've got access to that. I can access Discovery Plus. Lovely jubbly. So there'll be a watch along. There'll be post-match pints, after births, all that sort of stuff, fan cams, and then all the build up to the Spurs game after that. So good stuff, lads. A lot to talk about. I
enjoyed it. Very good.
Yeah, very, very, very good. Very good, lads. So listen,
very fancy.
Very, very fancy. God, I look back at that and I think I should have told them, like, please change the script. But
what was the one where didn't Nicky do one? He was laying on a bench or something with his feet up.
Yeah. I filmed it. I didn't know what the fuck it was. He was like, "I've got to do this ad thing. Can you film it?" And that, and I'm following him around fucking Stratford. But at least I didn't have to say very, very fancy and shave your jingle balls or whatever the fuck I had to say. Shout out, good old Manscaped. So yeah, bloody good stuff. Thank you all for watching. And like I said, have a good weekend before West Ham ruin it. QPR predictions, actually, quick. Before I go, let's do that. Why don't we do that? QPR prediction. We ain't done that. This is hard, isn't it? It's hard because you don't know what the fuck team's going to turn up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go 2-1 West Ham.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a draw. So is it straight to penalties? No replays again, or they got replays for round 3?
No, I don't think they've got replays.
Well, I'm gonna say we're gonna win it on penalties.
I'm with Matt for no rhyme or reason. This just score popped to my head. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm saying 1-0 West Ham. I don't know though. If Tate and Pablo play and they're banging, I don't know, man. I've just got no. Us a clean sheet. Could we finally get it? The infamous clean sheet, the elusive clean sheet.
With a Manson in goal.
I just want to win. I just want to do a post-match pint with that winning feeling. I don't care how it comes or what happens. I just want that winning feeling. I want Dan to say West Ham beat. I'm fed up with saying West Ham have just lost.
Yeah,
we just come back from the London Stadium where it was West Ham 0, Tottenham fucking 3, and
mate, if we could just slap them, right? If we could smash them emphatically, which I know is asking a lot, like these days, but if we could just do that, and we could be like, oh bloody hell, like we got to see the new strikers banging goals, and there'd be a little bit of optimism creep back in. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, so Scott's saying we're going to win on pens. I'm saying 1-0. Ryan saying 2-1. Also.
Remember that time when we played Blackburn? It was like 10-9 on penalties or something.
Yeah, that was.
Bonner at the crossbar, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was that the one that everyone was slating Areola for being shit on pens and not saving a pen, and then he went on some mad run?
I think both goalkeepers didn't get near any of the penalties that night.
Yeah. Not good pens.
They was all like, he's terrible on penalties. Like eventually, and ended up like saving quite a few penalties after that. But yeah, also thank you to OK Jerseys up there. There you go. We've all got mine. You can get current, as we're like, we've all got different ones. So current, fuck's sake, current. There we go. Classic, and then you got your Iron Maidens. So yeah, lots of options. You got your internationals, England's, all of that stuff. I'll do ever. Go and check them out. I know we got some non-West Ham fans in the chat, so have a look, scan the QR code, or check out okjersey.com. And as Ryan pointed to it, for fuck's sake, Nicky10 discount code 10% off. I'm fucking all over the gaff. So go check them out if you want to get some shirts. Like I said, as you can see, looking good. Like I said, but do consider sizing up. Yeah, everyone fits. What's yours, Scott? What size is yours?
This one's XL.
XL, yeah. So Scott is not typically an XL. So do size up. That's my advice. Coming from China, so they're a lot slimmer than us. They're over here. So that is it now. That's it. I think that's everything. Almost forgot that. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. Have a good weekend. And one thing left to say, come on, you Irons.